The Galamsey story is getting murkier and murkier. The Ghana Water Company Limited has shut down the Kwenyaku, headworks, causing an acute shortage of water in the central region. I saw a video of the headworks and I was appalled. Brown water, part of it looking very, very dirty. Officials link the challenge to heavy silting of the Ayensu River as a result of illegal mining activities upstream of the river in the eastern region. Now, the plant, commissioned in 1964, has a production capacity of 14,000 with the new plant commissioned in 2007 has a capacity of 21,000 cubic meter capacity. Currently, residents in affected communities are relying on unsafe water sources for both drinking and or for domestic and commercial purposes. Here's a quick update.
It's been weeks without water flowing through taps in communities served by Ghana Water Limited's Kwenyaku headworks. In Kwesi-Twikrom, one of the worst-hit communities in the Aguna East District, residents are depending on the offer stream, a shallow, weed-filled, muddy source for drinking and cooking.
So I would win in Swa, or here, yes, I am on one edibianum, on one edibi na easy. On what Henapum is but any option. Just on one than Yasana.
Even so, be crampo yarna say, or the cockrenica. Moja one anasa of a few crampa, in so I been a diamma. What I know who crown, me. And this is from crowd in so bonum cry, what I win young, what they were dashing, I are for so crapono, demon.
What are white going to move? I brown. Napia what the banner do. You are the banner when you had Antiman son of Jenny appeared in Biano. A man before you can cry. Tell my poku all about us, I'm a hana, and all the same. I'm a hana wambo, who poke when I bounce to say, or the home said, and the man on Sunuhan or said.
Untreated water from the stream is even used to process gari and cassava dough.
We are beyond a yes, I had a horror. You're banching at him. We have been also no bad time, Mr. Bibunyama. You're beyond the young po, and poor a yasam young so no marble frokutami. You're bad then, or you are bonum, sans away.
Local food vendors are struggling to find water, creating frustration and despair.
See, I'm me tofu. Me am quine. Damunsu ya mukohui, was him wawumi, into young to me fan yet, now, Ben Queen in the dynamical drum bako. None a pemidia asa. In Suwen and the middle who mammy to Munsuni, Namadi to Eddie Bay. In Subiania.
A blow pa. A blow.
Abani say at the same or how putting burn at the mount.
I say, Yapaya Blenty Momblanibi.
Health officials at the local facility warn of a looming outbreak of waterborne infections.
But I think we have advised them not to take it raw. At least they have to boil it before they take it. So, and it's going to cause a whole lot of diseases because after maybe resolving the issue, maybe we might have a breakout. Yes, especially cholera.
The community chief has expressed disappointment over the pollution of the Ayonsu River by illegal mining activities.
Ama yako echiru krobi of West Amokrum, one I to Mkoyin Suho. One also Sarakwa motor no bajo 25 Ghana cities. Ekwa Bukwekubu Sube 5 cities. Inti Bowen and Su Bay Robber Chrono across 30 Ghana cities every day.
Years ago, the Ayonsu River was pristine and teeming with fish. Today, lifelong resident Kwame Kwetu Yamua says its current state is heartbreaking.
Before the waterways, it is this river we depend on. Where we are standing here, it's called Mbeme Gare. So this river in particular serves a lot of communities. Since this Galamsey manner started, this river began to change its color. But this Galamsey is not going on in our area here.
Even so, some residents, despite the health risks, continue to bath and drink from the contaminated river. With the Ayonsu unsafe, others have turned to the equally unwholesome Nkunkum River.
You do we say didn't now in Sua, say, you know, one say no, Nessa, Amazon, say in Subiampo, Yanom.
The DBT has become high like this. We don't have anything to do. In the morning, we have to put gallons and jerrycans in Abuboya Then we go to nearby villages to request for water before you can cook.
It's quite unfortunate that when the whole thing started, they took things for granted. Now we are facing such a challenge. What it means is that I'm even advising, even if they are able to pump the water, looking at its situation now, it's not good for consumption because you can see too that the turbidity level is very high.
The water crisis is also disrupting education. School children arrive late after long treks to fetch water.
We are not getting water at all. And if we need water, we must come and then depend on the river here. In fact, the reporting time is supposed to be latest by 7:15. And by 7:30, we are supposed to begin lessons. But you have to be waiting for the kids to come around. Sometimes 9 o'clock. So it's very challenging.
At Pamfukrom Technical Institute, boarding students walk more than 2 hours to collect water from the polluted Ayensu River.
We lack waters, so because of that, we need to take our bucket and go to the stream or the riverside to fetch waters. The distance is very far. We close around 3:30, but for the sake of the water, when we don't close early to go to the riverside to fetch water, the path will get dark. So we need to close early and go to the riverside to fetch waters.
In desperation, residents, including children, queue for drops of wastewater from the plant's drainage tunnel, climbing dangerously to reach it.
In
Mankron Kwanta, a small cave managed by a resident provides some relief. But women, including the heavily pregnant, sacrifice hours of sleep to fetch water. It takes 4 to 5 hours to draw a single bucket.
I'm at 12 near Tim. Bed on Shrebi, a neighbor, near a sunny and Yakakra dako. I am she, I say, I call into what I know what the child on ye. What Galamsey was his you want. No one may say, I or Hayame, and Camelabun will be that. What would me who be that?
Namaba Miyan Sumpo Danaja, Mosal Bayer 12, Veteran Sima Minyabi, Masalanaja, Mafompo.
Traditional leaders in Kwanyako blame upstream pollution in towns such as Enuma Papam and Asioko in the eastern region.
Omano de Yesignai, together with young traditional authorities across the Aguna state, say Adele Feni Galamsey, it's a big no for Kwanyako. And I young cry travel share. Yet, baby, young can be in shame. I feel I used in a young say any assassin. And I'm why you know at the young court in Mapepim. And a honey who said, Send now in sooning fin figure. Na one wood that may good know.
Ghana Water Limited has since shut down the Kwanyako headworks. Both the old and new plant pumps are faulty.
This is where the pumps that serve both the old and new treatment plants are situated. But currently, none of the pumps can function due to heavy silting of the Ayensu River. We understand divers were brought in to check the level of silt, and it's quite heavy. It may even take some sort of dredging in the river, plus having the illegal mining activities upstream also stopped to be able to have these pumps back into functioning.
If I were to be the head of state or the government, I will use the gun because I have the military, I have the police, I have all the security services. So persuading them and it won't result to any positive. I'll use the gun. Killing about 1, 2, 3, 4 people, they will stop. I don't believe in killing people. But this one, we have to do something of that sort. People must die. We have to sacrifice people to stop this menace. Because it's not the whole Ghana. It will reach some time that maybe you won't even get water to drink.
Voices from the central region. 10 districts affected by the silting of the Ayesu River, which has rendered the Kwenyaku headworks shut down. The call for action against Galamsey is getting louder. When we come back, you hear from the Catholic bishops as well. They've been asking the president to take more decisive action. We'll hear from the Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi. And then the government has tried or has attempted to respond to this. We'll hear from them as well. So we just had a report from our Central Regional correspondent about the very, very troubling situation in the Central region because of the shutdown of the Kwenyakun headworks, affecting 10 districts. Probably 1 million people affected by the Galamsey silted Ayensu River and the fact that it's made the Kwenyakun headworks almost unusable. Let's hear from the Catholic bishops. The Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi has been speaking to CC News on the need for the government to change its approach to Galamsey.
The declaration of state emergency, we are not talking of revolution or military type of state emergency. All we are saying is that let's take a very radical action because the situation calls for a radical response, not piecemeal actions as we are doing now. It calls for a very, very radical action. Now, to say that the state of emergency and to do such a thing, this is not the time. When should the whole country be destroyed? We are in the process, people are in the process of destroying everything. And it's not being recovered. Then we say, when should the whole Ghana be devastated before we try to repair what? And the state of emergency that we are calling about should have happened far back. And for you to say that this is not the time is very worrying and very surprising. Many of us are disappointed in that statement. Now, gold. What little gold do we get? And do you know the costs to people's lives, to our forests, to our water bodies, to our health? Then that paltry amount gold that we get. Why should we entertain evil acts? Why? When we all know, who says he doesn't know? So we don't know, we don't understand what he means by the time, what time is he really talking about? He could have described that time. But for us, and for many Ghanaians, and I believe we speak for many Ghanaians, most, I would say, the time that this state of emergency should have been declared is long overdue. It's long overdue.
Are people sending messages and saying that, why are you speaking now and that you have suddenly found your voice? I don't know what you say to them.
Now, those who do not want to hear and do not want to study, before Nana Akufo-Addo's government, our voices, they should read the messages and some of the statements we have made during Akufo-Addo's time. When he started that he's doing this, we spoke. And we spoke several times. Look at our communities and all those things. And even when Akufo-Addo failed in the first term, probably for political reasons, he stopped what he was doing because probably he said he was losing and people didn't vote for him because of Galamsey. So he stopped the second time. You know what we did. We spoke several times, made several statements. And even for the few times you saw the Catholic Church going on the streets. And we did it not only in Accra. Of course, Accra is the capital. But almost all the regions. And we did that for education and to raise people's awareness. Why should they say that we have not spoken and it's now that we are speaking? That is a lie. It's a very, very clear lie. And people who want to, blunt the facts and overlook the real things that are happening when we are looking to savage the nation. They don't love the nation. Those who say, why is it that now we are saying it?
Okay. The next question would be, now that it appears very clearly that the president is not interested in doing that, and that's a demand you're making, what options are left for you on the table?
Well, I believe that a president who loves the country, who loves the welfare, cannot overlook the devastation and the harm that Galamsey is causing the nation. That's why I'm saying probably the president does not have the full brief. The president may not be in touch with the reality. And that is why we write some of these things, to probably prompt the president to really have a second look.
Is it possible? Is it possible that he knows better than you and I, because he receives security briefs and the security briefs do not suggest that the situation is so dire as to require a state of emergency?
Well, I don't think the president can know all things more than all Ghanaians. And there are a lot of people who are voiceless and who cannot talk, and if they talk, even nobody hears them. If he really wants to know what is happening, let them do a survey. Let them ask Ghanaians, and not only security agents or people, his environmentalists and ministers informing him. Let them ask Ghanaians quickly. Let them do very, very clean survey and ask. And then he will get what his people, the people he's leading, what they are telling him.
You have had opportunity to meet the president since he took office. Did these issues come up? What was his response?
Yes. We have the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference have visited the president to congratulate him. And one of the first things he mentioned was this matter, that it would be the best legacy he will give to Ghana if he's able to nip Galamsey in the bud and probably reorganize it in such a way that it will not lead Ghanaians on the steep slopes to destruction where we are now heading. We did tell him. We did remind him. We did inform him. So we were very, very surprised that he gave this very, very soft answer to the Galamsey issue on the recent press meeting.
So 829, still on Galamsey, that was the Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi, President of the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, speaking to Umaru Sandamadu on Eyewitness News. Now, Minister of State for Government Communications, Felix Kwatro-Fosu, has been speaking about what government intends to do in what it calls the renewed fight against Galamsey. He says government will deploy soldiers to all 44 forests permanently. Here's an excerpt of what he said on Face to Face with Umaru Sanda.
When we came to power in January 2025, an assessment showed that as of that time, there were 288 forest reserves. Out of these 288 forest reserves, Galamsey threatened 44 of them. In other words, there was some Galamsey activity in 44 of them. 9 out of those 44 had been completely taken over by armed gangs who were doing as they pleased and superintending Galamsey on a massive scale. Now, what is the situation? The situation now is that all the 9 forest reserves have been repossessed by government through the Galamsey Task Force. All 9 of
forest reserves, where are they located?
They are, I can give you a list.
Okay.
But it is a matter of public record. There's no dispute about it.
Okay.
They have been taken over by government again. Of course, you do know that once that is done and the task force moves, some unscrupulous elements try to go back, but we are still pursuing them. So those 9 are no longer under the control of these armed bandits who were doing Galamsey. So if you have a situation where at the beginning of the year, 9 forest reserves were under the control of armed bandits who were doing Galamsey, and now that is not the situation, that is a clear improvement. Now the larger 44 have also seen some increased activity by government to ensure that we flush out these elements. But of course, we will be the last to say that Galamsey has been overcome. It has by no means been overcome. There are still people who are doing Galamsey, and we are going after them. Now, how have we done this? Now, we formed what we call the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation Center, NIMOS, which brings together all the stakeholders who are playing a role in fighting Galamsey. So the military, the police, other technical personnel, and what have you. So that it becomes a coordinating center, so that the fight is properly structured, because there were disparate groups, all of whom worked towards a common objective. But every now and then you hear reports about excesses and abuse. There were every reports of extortion and all that. In order to gain control of the situation and ensure that the fight is coordinated, NIMOS has been set up. So that gives you a structure that forms the foundation upon which you move against Galamsey. Number 2, what are the tangible outcomes? Apart from reclaiming the 9 forest reserves, as I speak to you, there are 1,400 people who have been arrested and are waiting for the Attorney General informs that he will soon set up a special court to hasten their prosecution so that it will serve as a major deterrent to people who are minded to go into it. Umaru, over 440 excavators have been seized, some of which have been destroyed. You recall that under the MP, when excavators were seized, we were told that they had been stolen and shared amongst party people. We cannot account for them, but that is not the case today. 300 shamfans, and you know what shamfans are? They are some contraptions that
people
put on the river and stir the riverbed, and that's what creates the turbidity, that increases the turbidity levels and destroys the quality of the water. 300 of those equipment have been seized, many of them destroyed. And in fact, there are efforts to dechemicalize the water. In other words, put in material that would ensure that we reverse the deterioration in quality. In addition to this, 900 water pumps that these Galamseyers used have been confiscated. In fact, only last week, the Agric Minister shared this for farmers to use to irrigate their lands, water their lands. So this has been done. We also noticed, upon assumption of power, that there was an unusual influx of excavators. The records show that we now have about 200 excavators imported into Ghana every day. So we said no, this must be looked into. Excavators in themselves are not designed to be used for illegal mining. They are construction equipment. So there are legitimate construction firms that import these for their business. There are also legitimate companies involved in lawful mining who use this equipment. But there are unscrupulous people who import them and use it for this nefarious Galamsey activity. So what did government do? We said, no, we are now going to impound it and find out whether indeed these excavators are being imported for legitimate purposes. So indeed, in the last 8 months or so, 2 months, we impounded 1,300 excavators. It took up a large tract of space at the ports. So on 22nd August, GPHA put out a notification that they were going to move these excavators to decongest the port so that containers can have space to be packed. Some of your colleagues in the media reported this as though at midnight, Galamseyers were being allowed to clear these excavators to go and engage in Galamsey. And that's what has added to this latest round of public brouhaha. But it was false reportage. GPHA put out clear notification. And in fact, I invite your crew to go to Burma camp. I can facilitate that. You will see the excavators, some of which are parked there, some of which are parked at Michelle Camp and other places, under military guard, so that nobody can dare go there and move it without express authorization from the appropriate quarters. Now, 1,300 of them have been impounded. As I speak to you, every excavator that is imported and cleared legitimately is tracked. A tracking device is installed so that we can follow the movement of that excavator. There is something they call geofencing, which means that the tracker is programmed such that if you move the excavator beyond the area you said you were going to use it for construction or lawful mining purposes, you will be identified and the excavator can be disabled. So all these are being done in order to ensure that we make substantial progress in the fight against Galamsey. Let me make it clear that President Mama is committed, absolutely committed, to weeding out Galamsey. Also, let me indicate that we made specific commitments in the fight against Galamsey. We spoke about banning new mining activity in forest reserves. And indeed, it's been implemented. As I speak to you, since we came to power, no lease has been granted to anybody to mine, whether lawful or unlawful, in a forest reserve.
So all these things you said sound great. The only question is, why are you not imposing a state of emergency?
Again, you see, President Mama answered that.
Yes.
President Mama answered that at the media encounter.
The answer was not satisfactory, and that's why we are seeing a lot of the questions.
Well, I'm not sure that it was not satisfactory. You see, one of the things that needs to happen is that the conversation has to be such that we listen to all the issues that are raised. First of all, a state of emergency is a very severe measure. It comes with curbs in freedoms.
But you knew about this in opposition.
But we have never called for a state of emergency. We never did. Let me correct it. We didn't say that we will impose a state of emergency. At the time that the state of emergency discussion came up in opposition, 9 forest reserves were under the control of bandits. That is no longer the situation. President Mama says that the conventional methods we are using, if it is ramped up, can achieve the objective. But he is prepared anytime it becomes necessary to impose a state of emergency to do so. And I'm indicating that the state of emergency comes with certain measures.
So the conditions are not ripe for that now?
He does not believe now that the conditions are ripe yet. But he believes certainly that the actions we are taking must be increased. They must be intensified. In fact, let me tell you that now, all the 44 areas that are threatened by Galamsey, there's going to be permanent military presence. In the past, they go and flash out the characters engaged in Galamsey and then they leave. But now they will have permanent military presence. All riverine areas, in other words, all the rivers that we have will have permanent military presence. In addition to this, we have the blue water guards. The idea is to ensure that up to 2,000 of them are trained by the close of year. We have close to 1,000 now. Their role is to complement the efforts of the security agencies to monitor the rivers and immediately alert NIMOS and other entities involved about the presence of these people so that action can be taken. It is through their agility and alertness that the 300 champagnes have been seized and destroyed. So a lot is happening.
So that was Felix Kwatiofosu. So you had three different angles. You've heard the report filed by City News correspondent from Kwenyaku, where the headworks have been shut because of Galamsey. Then you've heard the Most Reverend Matthew Jemfi, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, speaking about the need for a state of emergency. Now you've heard the Minister of State for Government Communications saying that they would deploy soldiers permanently at 44 forests threatened by illegal mining. Now you'll hear from the President later on. Now, I'm here with Francisca Richiska and Samens. It seems to me as if the government is not hearing what people are saying. Because if you listen to the press conference we did with the President and all the interviews we granted, we seem to be speaking, but they don't seem to be either understanding or hearing. Right? And I felt like this Kwenyaku shutdown thing should have been the impetus for some more serious action. In fact, even the death of the 8, was in August, right? One would have thought that would have been the clarion call to say, you know what? These people died on their way to solve Galamsey using the normal things we've tried to do. And so to honor their memory, we are going to go all out and we are going to essentially clamp down on it to a point where we stop all types of illegal mining. But I think there's a big opportunity we are missing. And if you listen to the President on Wednesday, I'm not sure if his briefing is in sync with the reality that all of us seem to be seeing across the country. Yeah.
Well, I think this is where this Galamsey has brought us, and where we find ourselves now is the sum total of all the efforts that we have pretended to be putting in to stop Galamsey over the years. You see, the Kwenyaku Waterworks is situated within the Aguna system. The Aguna it serves the Aguna and the Gumwa and some part of George Anders' former constituency. The Futu system.
So they said 10 districts in all.
Yeah, 10 districts.
10 districts.
And there is the Ayensu River that has been dammed to provide water, mind you. And the Ayensu River itself, there's no Galamsey in the Ayensu River.
Is this tributaries?
It is the brim that flows into the Ayensu River that has caused this.
So from the eastern region.
From the eastern
region. So Ayensu is in central.
It's mostly in central, okay. And parts of some parts of eastern region into central region.
So there isn't that much Galamsey in the.
No.
So it's coming from eastern region.
It's actually coming. The silt is coming from the eastern region. It's a matter of fact. But guess what? You have Aguna East. Aguna East. You are talking about in Sabah, Kwenyaku, Mankron, and Swedru, parts of Swedru, Aguna Safo. You have Aguna West, that's Swedru Township, Nyekrom, Abodom, Bobikuma, all these places. Then you come to Gomwa Central, Afranse, Aboso, Ekwam Krom, all that.
They actually mentioned even your place. They said possibly.
I'm coming. Yes.
Your place.
So then, because once you get to Abodom, Bobikuma, you are going towards Ejumaku. Good. Yeah. Then you have Gomwa West, the Rampong, Apam, the part of Apam, which flows into Gomwa West. Then you have Gomwa East, Potsin, Dominase, Winneba Junction, that's Pomazi area. You also have Ewutu Senya East of our core part moving to the Kaswa side, Bojiase, all these places.
Ewutu Senya West.
Then you have Ewutu Senya West. That is Bojiase, Senya, Breku, all these places. Then Esikuma Odobin Brakwa. Then you come to some of the Efutu municipal places, the Winneba areas. Now,
so the headworks, I'm told, is now 21,000 cubic. So it's a big plant.
Before the Jumaku Enyan ACM district.
It's a big thing.
So Bernard, all put together, you don't have less than 1 million people.
Oh, more.
And
more.
As we speak now, they don't have water.
More.
Not just the fact that they don't have water. As we speak now, we don't know when they are going to get water.
Yeah.
Because you should see what we have in Kwenyako. I was there on Sunday. What we have in Kwenyako now is not even water. It's not water.
The thing that comes into the...
I'm telling you.
It's like...
Tom Brown is lighter.
Wow. So that's what comes... So the machine is spoiled.
I don't know which machine can deal with that matter.
Wow.
So if we don't see the water security challenge that this Galamsey is posing, we can't be licking around this Galamsey thing and be saying that it's providing people jobs, so we should wait. But how about those people whose lives are at risk now?
Yeah.
When NDC was in opposition, their approach to Galamsey, definitely not what we are seeing now. We hear Ofosukwachi talk about the efforts. It's okay to tell us about the efforts, but it's also okay to also measure your outcomes. And know that when you put your efforts versus the outcomes, you have not even scratched the surface. That's what we are saying.
Yeah.
And this Galamsey, you heard the Catholic Bishops' Conference talking about it. I mean, that would be like the nth time they are talking about this. So it's important that, I mean, I also hear, we are going to station the military people there.
Permanently.
In the forests. You see, I'll tell you what, if they don't know that, the Galamsey is not happening only in forests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you driven past Konongo?
Yeah, even near the roadside.
Did you hear what happened in Takwa when somebody went to open her shop?
The market.
In the market,
so
open her shop. Somebody had dug into the shop looking for. It's not forest matter.
So yeah.
The forest, yes. So to prevent people from going there. But how about the communities where the chiefs themselves are involved?
Yeah.
The communities where the policemen themselves were involved. And you are telling me that the military people, when they go, they will just sit down and worship the Galamsey.
No.
We need to raise.
And then the other point about arresting the people who have the money, because I remember in opposition there was a question we asked the president about, at the time former president, about he was saying that they will give amnesty to illegal miners, small scale miners, and then the reason he gave was that the real big wigs usually don't get arrested and they don't get punished. So those who provide money for Galamsey, we need to make an example of them. Now, I think they mentioned a number of arrests, but I'm not sure if we've been told of any of them being a key financier. You get it? Because the basic thing we are told in journalism is that follow the money. So if you catch 3 guys wearing singlet in a water body that they are doing Galamsey, you haven't done anything. Because where the 3 are from, there are 10,000 of them who want to do it. But if you get one person whose business enterprise is financing it, you get it. So I feel like the one of the missing links is the issue of tackling the money route, because there are financial flows that fuel the Galamsey, which I think if you nab the people whose business enterprise has been fueling it and you make a public show of them, then you are making some progress. But we cannot see that.
Bernard, it's very, very critical that we do this. But I think that it's not the first port of call in this matter, because it's going to be it's going to be a wild goose chase.
For the money people,
a lot of the money people have registered legitimate mining companies, small scale mining companies, which is like the facade. And behind, they are financing the Galamsey informally. So it takes a long trail to arrest them.
So you think we should go the state of emergency
we
way?
should do both. We should do both. But the state of emergency gives us, if like a blank check,
to stop everything. Then work backwards.
The politicians in power always think differently. When MPP was in power, they didn't do it. NDC they have not done it. So maybe the moment you get into Jubilee House, you see a different reality.
On the state of emergency?
Yes. Now, it's also important that we recognize that we are actually exposing ourselves to another disaster, which is a health emergency, that we are walking into it like this.
Yeah.
Look, this Kwenyakun all the way to Ejumakun, Esikuma area in the 60s and in the 70s used to be the infant belt, if you've ever heard infant. Guinea worm.
Oh, really?
Yes. That used to be the Guinea worm belt
something.
Because of the quality of water. Now, guess what we've just done? We have gone back to the 60s because of our irresponsibility and our inability to deal with a clear and present danger, which we always talk about when we are in opposition. So, very soon, you'll start hearing of the Guinea worm cases. I'm telling you.
And beyond Guinea worm as well, the chemicals in the water have many other things. Remember, Chris Gordon has explained to us the very many things: cyanide, the metals, mercury. It's a really big, terrible mixed bag of things that could happen with this. Somebody just sent me a text message, forwarded message. It says, "Big brother, with due respect, I wish to bring to your attention that the running water in Winneba has become very dirty and unsafe for use. The water has been discolored and is unfit for cooking or bathing. The situation is affecting many children and the elderly. We kindly request your urgent intervention to help restore clean water." Then the person attaches a video of a tap water running in their bathroom, and it's just dirt that's coming out of the water. So it's a big issue. I'd like to take your couple of takes on this before I move to Tamale Teaching Hospital. Let me start with Kakra. You are from the area as well. It's funny that even though the central region is not the real hotbed of Galamsey, it's almost like you are bearing the brunt, because upstream it's happening, and then for the water that comes down, So I'm not even sure the angle you're going to come from.
I think so. For me, my observation is that what is happening in Kwenyako and generally the central region with respect to the water situation in Galamsey is an accurate sample of the Ghana problem. Okay, so this is a town in a region where Galamsey hasn't become the mainstay, but what is happening in another region is having this dire impact on them. Okay, so the water, the plant is shut down. They don't have water. They don't know when they are going to have water. But where the menace is happening, they are not feeling that. And that signals where Ghana is going. So the rest of us are going to be sitting in Accra, in the north, wherever, and feel the impact of what is happening far away from us. Now, the report is very comprehensive, and listening to the voices, the hopelessness being expressed, the calls for a decisive action. The impression that I get, and I'm certain I'm not the only Ghanaian, is that the government appears conflicted as to how to resolve the Galamsey problem. Okay, we heard the president during his address with the media responding to a question about Galamsey, listening to the interview by the government spokesperson Felix Kwachi Fosu, talking about pockets of solutions. And the Bishops' Conference captures it accurately and says that what is needed is radical solution. And some of the voices, some of the indigenous boldly, asserted to that when they talk about a sacrifice. Because the national good is that we need water, we need air, we need these bodies, our water bodies, the air, and also the land not to be polluted. And so we would have to make bold sacrifices so that the generations after us will not worry about where they are going to get the next glass of water, etc.
My challenge, just to add what you said, you are going to talk about air quality, and some research was done that was linking bad air to a lot of
I was going
asthma,
to get to that, yes.
and then linking it to even some of the cardiovascular diseases. I don't even know whether somebody has started doing a study on the effect of polluted water on people's livelihoods. We probably haven't done it.
Well,
but
they've done it plenty.
No, I'm talking about in terms of its effect on the disease burden. And now, you see, because today we read a story that said bad air is now the leading killer of Ghanaians. It's overtaking malaria and it's overtaking HIV. All right. So my point is, if you look at the water one, it's probably worse. It just hasn't been delineated in the manner in which the air has been done.
I think it has, but maybe what we need to do is to refocus on that subject.
Okay.
I've heard reports from colleagues, across various media platforms, interact with doctors where Galamsey is happening and the kind of water that they're using, and they would make references to certain irritation to the skin. They didn't talk about defective births, etc.
Yes, kids born with certain deformities, all linked to the water. You're right.
All linked to the water. What is interesting is the connection to the air, because you have Galamsey. They use these chemicals. What do you call it? Mercury. We only talk about the impact of mercury in the water, but the mercury also affects the air because there's a vapor around it, and the blastings that will happen in these mining sites are also contributing, apart from toxics, but to also dust to the quality of the air. So for me, I'm not particularly impressed. I think the reiteration by the Bishops' Conference captures everything. We need radical solution to this. It's unfortunate the government appears conflicted. That's not what we need from the government. The government is supposed to help solve our problems. And so the solution is clear, and they've gone into the detail and say we're not asking you to declare a state of emergency across the country, but in the specific places where Galamsey is happening and is already having a devastating effect. I really would love to hear President Mahamad's direct response to the indigents of Konyako who haven't engaged in Galamsey but are suffering for it.
I actually need to do a couple of things. So I need to point out that even though we've said that the people in the Central Region are facing something they don't do, we have to be fair. There are parts of Central Region that Galamsey does. Okay, so for example, Dunkwa, Onofin, and some of the Asin areas do have mining and Galamsey. But what we're saying is that people in the Aguna area are not people who do Galamsey necessarily, but the water that comes there is from the Ayensu, which has been
and
polluted.
I frame it that way because it represents what is happening.
I agree with
Ghana.
you that the fact that you are not even in a Galamsey happening area doesn't mean you are not going to benefit. I also think that we need to air this report again. Because from my experience in this job, the best argument for action is to show the effect, not the shouting we shout. And I think the report that our Central Regional correspondent did captures everything that needs to be said in terms of the effects on people. Do you follow me? So maybe I'll rehash it for people to listen. If you hadn't listened, I heard it earlier in the morning. Maybe somebody have missed it already. I left take 2 comments and I go there.
I made a point. I think it's an error when I said that the brim flows into the Ayensu.
Okay,
at the point I was trying to make is that they all originate from the Etiwa range.
All right, but the brim goes into Densu rather. Or?
No, the brim goes into Pra.
Rather, Pra.
Yes.
Sorry, Pra.
Yeah,
okay.
It goes into Pra.
But Ayensu takes its source from the Etiwa range.
Etiwa, both of them. Both of them from the Etiwa range.
Okay.
But the Ayensu ends up at Winneba, somewhere.
See, let me take your comments. I notice you are bringing some science angle to the conversation around pollution of water bodies and related impact on aquatic ecosystems and ecosystem services. Just tidy that up before I go back to the report, because I feel like the Kwenyaku gives us a big opportunity to make a strong case. Right? 10 districts, 21,000 cubic feet of meters of water, Central Region, no water to drink. It's a big one.
Yeah, so Bernard, just drew your attention to this academic paper written by Kenneth Bedu Ado on the matter we're discussing, the direct link between how the pollution we're seeing in our water bodies is impacting economic activity and life generally. And if you read the conclusions of the report, it is really clear that people who are living along these riverbanks are suffering. And you heard it from that report. And again, Kakra mentioned that you listen to doctors who are working in internal medicine, people who are into kidney-related matters, the experts in those spaces are telling us that we're seeing serious casualties as a result of inaction on Galamsey. And then the new births that we are seeing from these communities, the experts, the gynecologists, the pediatricians in these spaces are telling us that there is a direct link between some of the major deformities we're seeing in the kids of this country and Galamsey related activities. And if I may, let me just read for you the first 2 paragraphs of this particular report I mentioned. So the conclusions say that the significant quantities of arsenic, mercury, and suspended solids generated during Galamsey activities in Ghana has diverted the flow of several rivers, altered light penetration, destroyed aquatic habitats, fragmented aquatic habitats, and destroyed aquatic ecosystems in Tuntukrum in the Ashanti region, Chechere, Ekropong in the central region, and Takwa and Siam in the western region, leading to loss of aquatic biodiversity in Ghana. The silt, sand, and clay, the main suspended solids generated during Galamsey activities, has darkened water bodies in Ghana, clogged the gills of fish, reduced the spawning size of fish, and reduced the hunting ability of predatory aquatic organisms in Ghana. Now, this is particularly telling you that all the economic activities, the fishing, and those things that people do along the river bodies, these are dying. Because if the fish is dying, you don't expect the fisherman to go to the riverside and hopefully get something home. And when that happens, how is he going to feed his family? Then you have the women in these villages who are into what? Fishmongering. What they do is that they go get the fish from the fishermen and then also smoke them. They smoke it. And then they send them to the market. Again, they are also affected because of the illegal mining that we're talking about. And if you go...
Just a quick intervention. That then counters the argument about the livelihood dependence on Galamsey. Because then their livelihoods are already being destroyed.
Actually, when you read the Ghana Academy of Science as a scientist thing, they analyze the various effects of Galamsey socially, and when you compare it to the so-called benefit, it's not even an argument. So I think one of the problems we are having is that government is conceptualizing, money, gold, but lost livelihoods, dead teenagers, deformed babies, bad water. When you put all of those things plus the livelihood point he's putting, it's actually worse.
It's worse than the livelihood.
So it's not even factual to even look. So even from an economic point of view, Galamsey is a disadvantage. From an economic point of view.
That is why when the mention is made of what Dr. Cadman Mills said,
last week.
I remove my hat and I doff my hat
to the
guy because it would take so much confidence, so much courage to come from the NDC side of things and speak boldly about the apparent incompetence that is leading to the mess we are seeing. Bernard, we were in this country when the previous administration was not dealing with the problem. We rallied TUC, the Catholic Bishops Conference,
everybody,
all the people who matter in the space.
October 2024.
Yes. And then
a stand against Galamsey.
Exactly. Prayed against the kinds of things that were happening that were not allowing the government to deal with the problem. At that time, when these things were going on, what was the NDC doing?
They were also going to the water bodies and taking pictures.
Leading voices of the party. Behind, podiums mounted by riverside
and delivering press conference.
They were looking to manage gold board.
It was serious.
Bernard, they were speaking big about how to confront the problem. We accounted incompetence to the NPP because they had failed to deal decisively with the problem. And the NDC said they have the solutions. And all the big shows,
the
men and the solution to deal with the problem. The Honorable Haruna Idrisu, a respected mind, said there was the need to declare what? State of emergency. Honorable Kofi Boah, who today, my good friend, the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, said that Mr. President has to declare. He has to declare.
State of emergency.
The Honorable Okujetua Blackwa, my good friend from, what do you call it? What's this considered? Notong. Also boldly stated
all of them
that there has got to be
George. Exactly. They all said it.
All these people who matter, who are in cabinet today.
Charlie.
Bernard, you cannot come to office after all these promises that we know how to deal with it.
8 months down
the
line.
President was failing to deal with it, and then you come to office, and the question is put to you at the press conference. And what we hear now is, the President himself did not say that, there will be state of emergency, so we should cut the President some slack.
Come on,
please. I mean, you should go.
Get serious, man.
Yeah. What, are you serious? No. Because this was the very reason why we sacked the MPP out of office,
among other things.
Among other things, because they were look. Under the first term of the Nanado government, we saw some passable effort to confront the problem. You and I sat here and led a campaign. In fact, this thing, we started somewhere in 2017, if my memory serves me correctly, when we're doing videos that were published on YouTube, insisting that something has got to be done.
It was actually 2015.
2015. Great. So the effort had been in place to push the government to act, and they acted when they came into office. But again, they too politically, people who were kingpins within the administration were told got involved.
They kicked off in Pomboati, and the rest became football.
Exactly. And then after the first, tenure of the government, they sort of slacked and things went haywire. So the president has no space to actually come and account to us that, we can't tell the difference between legal mining and illegal mining gold, and therefore we need to slow down. And in any event, these things are employing people. No. Because as of the time that Nanado and Co were fighting Galamsey in their first term, during the campaign, we were told that they were in the communities. That, don't worry. If we can, we'll allow you to do, small-scale mining responsibly. The people who have been jailed, we'll free them. We'll go after the big boys. When they came, the first thing they announced was that the Chinese people behind illegal mining, these are the money bags behind the thing. When we arrest them, we'll send them back home. When on your program, point of view, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, as of that time, now presently, who was the minority spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, said that it was wrong for the government to be sending Chinese people arrested for illegal mining back to China. We should show that we are a sovereign state, we are against criminal conduct like that, and we should prosecute them here. What has changed?
Now we are having conversation with the Chinese on how to give them visa.
Can you imagine? What has changed?
They said the visa, to be fair, the visa policy said they will stop giving them group visas because the group visas is where the illegal miners come through.
But you see,
that was in answer to a Galamsey question.
I have always told you here
yes,
that promises by their nature are immune to changing circumstances. So you cannot speak in opposition with both sides of the mouth that you have the solutions to the problem
and come
to us.
Yes.
When the question is put to you, then you are pussyfooting around the matter. They are showing incompetence in dealing with the problem, just like the former administration. They have the mandate now to deal with the problem, and we don't need any excuses.
Let's hear the report again, because I feel like it's very important to see the effect of the Galamsey. As I say, the greatest argument against Galamsey is not how loud we shout. It's about the showing people the effect of this irresponsibility on everybody else. So let's take you back to the central region.
It's been weeks without water flowing through taps in communities served by Ghana Water Limited's Kwanyako Headworks. In Kwesi Chikrom, one of the worst hit communities in the Aguna East District, residents are depending on the offer stream, a shallow, weed-filled, muddy source for drinking and cooking.
So I would here, yes, I am on one edibianum, on one edibi yedriani, na yezi, on what Henapo, but any option. Just on one aden, Yasana.
Even so, be crampo yarna say, or the Cocranica. Moja one and answer of a few crampa, in so I been a diamma. What I know, Hedman, me. And this is from crowd, and so bonum crowd, what I when young, what they were dashing, I are from so crapono, demon.
water white going to move. I brown. Napia water the banado. You are the banana and man surrounded Jenny appear and been taught nay piano. A man before you can cry. Tell my poku all about us. I'm a hana and all the same. I'm a hana wambo, who poke when I bound to say that the said the man on Sunuhan said.
Untreated water from the stream is even used to process gari and cassava dough.
We are beyond a yes, I had a horror. You're banching at him. We are be also no bad time, Mr. Bihunyama. You're doing the yumpo, and poor a yasam yun so no marble frokutami. You're better than or you are bonum, sans you.
Local food vendors are struggling to find water, creating frustration and despair.
See, I'm me tofu. Me am quine. Ntamunsu ya muko huyi wasem wa womi nti yentumi fenye edma ben queen ne da na mko bu drum baako na na pemidi aye asa nsu we na ndamede ohuru ma mede twetwu mu nsu ni na mede tu edi ben nsu bia ne ya
ablawum pa ablawum
aba ni say etisen or how potin ba na dem ma
say yakwa ya blenti momlenye bi.
Health officials at the local facility warn of a looming outbreak of waterborne infections.
But I think we have advised them not to take it raw. At least they have to boil it before they take it. So, and it's going to cause a whole lot of diseases because after maybe resolving the issue, maybe we might have a breakout. Yes, especially cholera.
The community chief has expressed disappointment over the pollution of the Ayuntu River by illegal mining activities.
Ama yako echiru krobi of West Amokrum, hona ya yotum kwenye nsu ho. Hona so sarekwa moto no bajo 25 Ghana cedis. Yako abukwe kubu nsu be 5 cedis. Nti bowe na nsu be rubber kro no across 30 Ghana cedis every day.
Years ago, the Ayuntu River was pristine and teeming with fish. Today, lifelong resident Kwame Kwetu Yamua says its current state is heartbreaking.
Before the waterways, it is this river we depend on. Where we are standing here, it's called Mbeme Gare. So this river in particular serves a lot of communities. Since this Galamsey manner started, this river began to change its color. But this Galamsey is not going on in our area here.
Even so, some residents, despite the health risks, continue to bath and drink from the contaminated river. With the Ayunsu unsafe, others have turned to the equally unwholesome Nkunkum River.
The DBT has become high like this. We don't have anything to do. In the morning, we have to put gallons and jerrycans in Abuboya. Then we go to nearby villages to request for water before you can cook.
It's quite unfortunate that when the whole thing started, they took things for granted. Now we are facing such a challenge. What it means is that I'm even advising, even if they are able to pump the water, looking at its situation now, it's not good for consumption because you can see too that the turbidity level is very high.
The water crisis is also disrupting education. School children arrive late after long treks to fetch water.
We are not getting water at all. And if we need water, we must come and then depend on the river here. In fact, the reporting time is supposed to be latest by 7:15. And by 7:30, we are supposed to begin lessons. But you have to be waiting for the kids to come around. Sometimes 9 o'clock. So it's very challenging.
At Pamfukrom Technical Institute, boarding students walk more than 2 hours to collect water from the polluted Ayunsu River.
We lack waters, so because of that, we need to take our buckets and go to the stream or the riverside to fetch waters. The distance is very far. We close around 3:30, but for the sake of the water, when we don't close early to go to the riverside to fetch water, the path will get dark. So we need to close early and go to the riverside to fetch waters.
In desperation, residents, including children, queue for drops of wastewater from the plant's drainage tunnel, climbing dangerously to reach it.
We reject pipe, Yes, I the idea. Yeah, there's soon be no. Instead, there we are no vessel. No, the idea would be.
In Mankron Kwanta, a small cave managed by a resident provides some relief. But women, including the heavily pregnant, sacrifice hours of sleep to fetch water. It takes 4 to 5 hours to draw a single bucket.
I'm at 12 near Tim. Bed on Shrebi, a neighbor, near a sunny and Yakakra. I am she, I say, I call. What I know what the child when ye. What Galamsey was he see one. No one may say, I or Hayame, and Kamala be that. What would me who be that? Namaba, me yen soon poor than a jar, Mosal Bayer 12, better see one. Me yebi, Masala Jama, my phone.
Traditional leaders in Kwanyako blame upstream pollution in towns such as Enuma Papam and Asioko in the eastern region.
Omano the ESG9, together with your traditional authorities across the Aguna state, say Ade often Galamsey it's a big no for Kwanyako and a young creator who is here. Yet baby, young cabin shim. Afe I used in a young say any assassin. And I'm you too at the young in Mapepim. Na hɔ na yɛkɔhu sɛ na nsu ne mfimfini mu na wɔn wotu da magudu no ɛyɛ awerɛho ɛyɛ asefem.
Ghana Water Limited has since shut down the Kwanyako headworks. Both the old and new plant pumps are faulty.
This is where the pumps that serve both the old and new treatment plants are situated. But currently, none of the pumps can function due to heavy silting of the Ayunsu River. We understand divers were brought in to check the level of silt, and it's quite heavy. It may even take some sort of dredging in the river, plus having the illegal mining activities upstream also stopped to be able to have these pumps back into functioning.
If I were to be the head of state or the government, I will use the gun because I have the military, I have the police, I have all the security services. So persuading them and it won't result to any positive. I'll use the gun. Killing about 1, 2, 3, 4 people, they will stop. I don't believe in killing people. But this one, we have to do something of that sort. People must die. We have to sacrifice people to stop this menace. Because it's not the whole Ghana. It will reach some time that maybe you won't even get water to drink.
So it's 9:15 on the City Breakfast Show, and that was what's his name? Our Central Regional Correspondent. His name keeps escaping me. We'll bring that to you shortly. But I'm going to the Western region now to speak to a former journalist, Nkrumah Boateng, to give me a sense of perspective on what's happening in that part. Don't forget that the Western region is the largest mining region of the country in terms of its contribution to mining now. It's contributed to our mining sector in a very, very unique way. Mr. Nkrumah Boateng, thank you so much for joining the program. We've just done a report from the Central region where the Kwanyako headworks have been shut because of Galamsey. What is the situation in Takwa in particular? Is there a water challenge? Is Galamsey affecting Takwa in the same way as it is in the Central region?
Well, Bernard, good morning and thanks for having me. I'm Tony Nkrumah Boateng. Like you said, you missed the Tony anyway. The situation in Takwa is quite dire. I live in a suburb in Takwa called Achampim, and Achampim is on the junction to Anglo Gold. So we are very close to the Bonsa River Works, and that's where we get our water. For the last 1 month, there's not been any flow of water through our pipes, and we are much closer to the Bonsa. So just imagine those behind us, those who live at Banchim, those who go to Tamso, the Market Circle, Sanaid, almost, the water works will confirm to you, they simply don't have the water to pump. There's no raw water to extract. Galamseyers have taken over the Bonsa River. They are digging deep into the Bonsa River. They're extracting the gold under the water. They have to go through the they have to go through the sand. They virtually need to destroy everything in their way to get to the gold. So we are sacrificing our water source in Takwa because of gold activity, Galamsey activity on the Bonsa River. That is what it is.
So you are confirming to me that for the past 1 month, the people of Takwa have not had pipe-borne water because they depend on the Bonsa headworks.
Yes, we depend on the Bonsa headworks. Well, there's another, the water facility, the Ghana Water Works here in Takwa have another facility at Aboso. So it's virtually a borehole facility at Aboso, which they treat and pump and they distribute to the environs in Aboso and sell some of the water. So now Takwa, most of the residents who need potable water, who don't have access to boreholes, need to move to Aboso to get water. And this is what is happening. I've lived where I live. I've lived here since 1998. I've been here for 27 years. And this is the first time we are having such an experience.
And are we sure that the non-functioning of the headworks is because of Galamsey? Is it the drying of the river or the pollution and turbidity? Because in the Agona Kwenyako case, the water was just too turbid and too polluted. What is the situation with the river itself and why the headwork has closed? Do you know?
The headworks is not working because there's no raw water to extract. It's not because of the weather. The weather is fine. We're having rains here in Takwa. It's just that there's no access to the raw water because Galamsey's have taken over the river bodies. The regional minister is aware. The manager there is aware. The municipal chief executive is aware. It's all over here in Takwa. Everybody knows what's happening there. There's the water is not available because the Bonsa River has been turned into a mining pit. That is what it is. I mean, we just need to be sincere about that. I mean, the cameras are there to go and cross-check. Anybody who lives here can just go there and go and cross-check. We do not have water because there's mining activity in the Bonsa River. That is what it is. And the history is there. I mean, this Bonsa Water Works has been here since 1975. So, I mean, Takwa has always had constant flow of water. But Galamsey activity has really rented the waterworks.
Sometimes when we discuss Galamsey in Accra, people say we oversimplify it because we do not understand the livelihoods of people who live in Galamsey-prone areas. So they say until the people who live in communities where Galamsey is done rise up against it, it may not end. Now you're telling me that the people of Takwa have not had pipe-borne water for at least a month. Do they actually know that it is Galamsey that has led to their lack of water?
Yes, Bernard. I mean, it's an open secret. Everybody knows where the problem is coming from. Like I said earlier, there are some households here who have access to borehole water. So those who have the borehole water are having their borehole water. Those of us who depend on pipe-borne water are the ones really, really suffering. And that is what it is. Galamsey has been around this area for God knows how long it has been. But now the intensity is what is getting us to where we are. When I was growing up, Galamsey was being done everywhere. I mean, the river bodies were not being touched. I remember in a community like Abontiakon, we call it Akon, there's been a lot of Galamsey activity. I mean, it has been there, but the river bodies were not being touched. Now, the main source of water is the one that is being dented now. There's been a lot of activity on the Bonsa River, and we need to find a solution to that because it's not everybody in Takwa that has access to borehole water. Yesterday, as I speak to you, I had to buy water for 1,000 cedis to fill a 7,000-liter tank. 7,000, the Rambo 7,000, the poly tank. In Takwa to fill it, the one who brought it to me yesterday took 1,000 cedis. That is what it is. So, I mean, it's real. And like I said, the alternative is to go to Aboso. And when you have to go to Aboso, if you have your jerry cans or whatever, if you want that type of water, the standard of Ghana water standards, which is being treated with whatever they need to do with it, if you want to have that same quality, Aboso is the alternative, and that is what it is. I mean, there's no secret about it.
But by the way, we are focusing on the effects of Galamsey on water, and you've said that the Bonsa River is now a Galamsey pit. I remember the name Bonsa because it's a company called Bonsa Tire Company.
Tire
how is Galamsey affecting things like the plantations and agriculture and cocoa and that kind of thing? Because I know that your area is also quite rich with rubber plantations and other agricultural products. Is it a water situation mainly, or are there other effects of this?
Well, there are other effects, like you said. I mean, when you have other products like the rubber plantation between Bonsai and Abuna, there's been a lot of Galamsey activities around that area too. That is the one that feeds the Ghana Rubber Estate, GREL. So it is not just the river bodies that I'm talking about. Other activities are also affected. I know farms that have also been taken over by Galamsey activity, because the water is in such a way that it's very difficult to control. So once one area is being polluted, the rest also affect. The rest are also affected, and this is what we've been living through. Like you said, I just remembered that some days ago, Galamsey activity is also affecting the market. I mean, somebody got up and their store got opened up, and you saw Galamsey activity beneath the market. The UBAS, the University Basic School here in Takwa, is just virtually in the middle of town. There's a lot of Galamsey activity around it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the ones that are not affecting the river bodies are also affecting the normal livelihoods here. When you are moving between the University of Mines and Technology, between UMAT and the train station on your right, that is where you have the UBAS school. And there's a lot of Galamsey activity beneath the school itself. There's a hill behind the school. And there's a lot of Galamsey activity everywhere. I mean, it's
and the people doing the Galamsey, would you say they are known people from the area, or are they strangers? Because you're telling me that people of Takwa don't have water. They have to depend on Aboso. Are the Galamseyers our neighbors and cousins and friends, or are they imported miners who come in from other communities coming to do this?
You have indigents here, you have others coming through to also help. I mean, it has become part and parcel of the system. It's an open site, Bernard. It's an open site. You come to Takwa everywhere. I mean, almost everywhere you see the digging going around. It's nothing new, it's nothing strange. But what is making the situation worse is that our water bodies are now being attacked. That is where the problem.
So if the government came to say it's banning all forms of mining in Takwa and brings military men to enforce it, will there be an uprising against the government?
It's something that is going to be extremely difficult, because the economy has been tailored in such a way that it's so dependent on mining activity here. It's so dependent. I mean, between Takwa on your way to Isioso, on your way to Takwa Banso, I mean, everywhere is Galamsey activity. If you want to put in military men, then you eventually have to shut the whole town down. The whole town will have to go down, because I can tell you that, I mean, it's visible, and its rampant effect, the economic effects of Galamsey is the thing that will be hit so hard that I don't know what solution can be found towards it, because apart from the mining activity, there's virtually, Takwa is a municipal authority. Takwa is municipal. We have banks here, we have everything here, but I can tell you everything is tailored around mining. Anglo Gold is here, they do upper mine. We have goldfields here in Takwa, we have goldfields in Daman, but everything revolves around how many people do they really employ? A lot of others who don't have access to the mines have got to also live, and that is the activity they've been engaged in all as well.
Thank you so much, Tony Nkrumah Boateng, for your insightful report. Hope we can talk to you again soon.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
So it's quite clear this is not just a one-off. So we've seen Central. He's just described Takwa. There are other parts of Western region I haven't gone to yet. I was quite sad hearing him say that the whole River Bonsai is a mining pit. And the fact that even though the people of Takwa don't have water, if the government took a stand against Galamsey in the way I proposed in the interview, he would have to shut down the whole town.
It must be done.
I mean, the reason I sort of slow down a bit is that a lot of times, and he is saying that they know that it's Galamsey. They know. All right? So there has to be some social work in addition to the military work.
Because they are not doing it in hiding. No. Yeah. In Takwa, no, they are not hiding to do anything. It's open, and you see them. I mean, look, you see Galamsey troops, let me call troops, driving up and down the streets of Tarkwa on daily basis.
Let me ask you a question. You said something very interesting. You said that when politicians get to Jubilee House, they interpret our call for state of emergency differently. And it set me thinking, could it be that when they calculate the force it will take to actually shut down Galamsey, maybe they feel the state is inadequately prepared? Because we have been told that in some of the Galamsey places, the people are armed. And maybe it's possible they feel they can't sustain a force against Galamsey in the manner that we propose.
There's a cop-out.
No, Sky, we are thinking. Let's not do it that way. I'm asking him a question. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it.
If it's quote and unquote an armed confrontation, then all the government needs to do is to give the military the permission to go and deal with it. People in Jubilee House don't use arms.
No, I'm talking about.
No, I'm coming. I'm saying that if you talked about arms, people having arms, and I'm saying that if you unleash the military people, give them 3 days that the people are using arms, so go and finish them. They will finish them in 1 day.
How sure are we that? I'm coming. You see, they mentioned 44 forests, and now the man is telling me that just one town, the whole town is a Galamsey enclave. So I'm coming. Assuming there could be 25 towns in the western region like this, if you look at the population of the town and the investment in Galamsey, and you look at our military might, I'm saying that is it possible that the government doesn't think that if it goes full force, it can actually even win?
Yeah, but the full force does not necessarily mean that it has to be military. That's the point I'm making. Full force doesn't mean it has to be military.
But how do you shut down? Let's use the Tarkwa as a case study. He said to us that there are people who are openly mining in a river body, and the whole town depends on it. And that if
not the whole town, I don't think the whole.
Well, he says the whole economy. I mean, we just heard him ourselves. He said the whole economy depends on
Galamsey. The economy
revolves around it. Yes.
Around
so
mining.
So the question is,
by mining.
I'm coming. Skyway. So the question is, if government says Tarkwa no mining, let's assume there are 300 people in mining who have like another 500 who depend on it, and we all see them open. They are cousins and aunties and things. It's one thing saying no Galamsey. It's another thing enforcing it.
Yeah.
That enforcement may mean soldiers with. You may even have to do a curfew. Because when you say state of emergency,
yes, that's what it means. It includes that.
I'm coming. So operationally, if you put a state of emergency in Tarkwa, how many men do you need? Mind you already have people in Boku. You already have been 3 issues you are dealing with. If let's assume they are, and we can find this out, the number of Galamsey communities in the country. If you are going to enforce some sort of curfew or state of emergency in those communities, have we actually done the numbers to be sure that the government has the capacity to do it? The army can do it? That's my question.
Why not, Bernard? I mean, we have a history of imposing curfews in this country, right? We have a history of imposing curfews on the whole of the Republic of Ghana, even when we did not have the current numbers that we have, right? Galamsey is not happening across the whole of the country. There are specific areas that people have just elected to destroy with their greed. And we are paying the military to protect us from enemies, foreign and domestic. Now, these people who have elected to use Galamsey as their way of life, to feed themselves and their family and to do whatever they want to do, they are doing that at our expense. If you look at the provisions of the Constitution, we are, as a people, have elected to put our natural resources in the hands of the president. And it is his job to protect those and ensure that we are safe from the activities of these people in the bushes. So what it means is that if Sanchu tells us that you need to know your enemy. Now, nobody can tell us that we don't know who these people are, and we don't know that the military people, before they move into those places, they would have to do some background work. I believe they have done that. I believe the Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center would have done some work on it.
You know, the reason I am pushing the resource constraint is not to justify the lack of settlements.
No, I understand that.
You see, when I remember interviewing with CNN some time back, when he started pointing out the danger of the militarization of mining areas and how the confrontation between sometimes community members and mining companies and the way it was getting militarized was a problem. And he spoke about places like Dollar Power, where he spoke about how there's a lot of illegal arms trade.
People from across the border.
And his point was that there's a whole ecosystem around illegality which is thriving. Remember, there was a day the government said they had gone to close down a whole town in the night because they operate at night. It's a Galamsey town with prostitutes and things. So I feel like the next leg of the argument should be we need to understand operationally the scale of the Galamsey problem in terms of specific places that need to be shut. So if you say, for example, state of emergency, maybe between us, the Media Coalition and the Academy of Science, they can identify the specific communities that require state of emergency.
They have the information.
My listeners don't. So that's one. You see, because Sky, sometimes when somebody says they don't want to do something, you have to give them every reason to know that they have no other option but to do it.
Yeah.
So one, let's have a map out of the specific areas that we believe that state of emergency must happen. Number two, what level of force it will take and for how long to actually clamp down and stop it. Because, you see, if you say, and these are security matters, so I don't know how many soldiers we have in Ghana. I don't know what level of equipment they have. Here we are arguing about even a presidential jet. I don't know how level of equipment they have, and I don't know how their morale. Sky, don't laugh at me.
It's not just a military solution.
No, but a state of emergency is a military issue.
No.
A state of emergency is enforced by soldiers.
No. Soldiers and police, as the case may be.
No. You see, a state of emergency gives you a blank check. Let me put it that way. To confront the problem in unconventional ways, including the use of force.
Deadly force.
You understand?
Yes.
What I'm saying is that if you flip it and look at where this Galamsey has brought us, the time you interviewed Dr. The one you just said, no, the Kofi Annan. Kosieni. If we had confronted the situation then it wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's gotten worse now.
What I'm saying is that because we are licking the problem, we are still trying to. How many seminars and conferences haven't we had? The universities are putting out their researches, the medical community putting out their researches, and they're still not pushing us to bring it to a halt. You see, the issue is that it has to come to an end.
The question is, again, let no listener misinterpret my point. You come to my office and say, Bernard, you guys should write a story about this, and you keep telling me and I'm not doing it. Maybe I don't know how to do it, or maybe I can't do it.
That's true.
It's not maybe I'm not willing to. So I am saying
but that's also an alternative.
I'm saying that, you see, between the Interior Minister, Defense Ministry and co, maybe somebody needs to analyze whether they actually have the capacity to do it.
You see,
why shouldn't we analyze that?
Wait,
why shouldn't we analyze that?
It's not for them to do it. It's not their business to do it.
Okay.
Theirs is to create the energy for the institutions and people whose duty it is to execute it. Yeah. That's the point I'm making.
No, hold on.
Let me fortify your position. The president...
Wait.
Allow me to...
A community has miners who have taken over and they are mining.
Yes.
And you say you are declaring state of emergency, so you have to enforce it by saying that leave the mining pit.
Yes.
So you have to send people with force to drive them away and to ensure. I'm coming.
That's half of the solution.
Allow me. And to ensure that they are not there.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm saying that we have to add the logistical resource angle to the discussion.
That is true.
That's all I'm saying.
No, that is true.
So let's add that, and if we believe that. They have no excuse on that front. Let's put those facts out.
Are we saying that?
Including, because when you see, the more you make a problem, somebody said, when you write a problem down, you are half your way to solving it. So I'm saying there's a lot of intellectual power around Ghana Academy of Arts, all of us who have come together.
Yes.
Then we need to delineate and put out the top 50 Galamsey communities, their populations, and say that we believe that because the government doesn't want to. In fact, the government is even misinterpreting state of emergency.
Bernard,
give me 2 seconds. By even saying that, state of emergency, you can't declare that around the whole country. Well, else nobody has even said that.
All the governments, not just NDC, MPP to do the same thing.
And I'm saying that let's come up with the top 44 communities where Galamsey is happening, and let's delineate what it will take to enforce a cessation of Galamsey there. And juxtapose that with the government's own declared military force and say to them, dude, you don't have an excuse. because you have enough men to enforce this. Do you know what I'm saying? Because right now, there is no exactness in the discussion. Nobody is mentioning the specific place the state of emergency should take place.
Bernard, if you call Erasmus Asaridonko today, he will tell you more than 44 areas in this country where Galamsey is a problem.
Let's make that public knowledge. That's what I'm saying.
All of these things have been discussed.
We are doing, no, you don't get me. We are doing public advocacy for Galamsey. The more useful information we put out, the easier it is for people to put pressure on duty bearers to act. So I don't even know what you are doing. I'm saying that. So, for example, you just heard somebody on radio in the report say that the government should shoot and kill. Clearly, he has understood the challenge to a point where even he, as an ordinary citizen, is giving government confidence to do what has to be done. So, what I'm trying to say is that let's put more information out there around the specific places that need the state of emergency. Do you understand me? So that the excuse that a state of emergency is a last resort is removed.
If the president cares about his promise to the people, the NDC's promise to the people to actually deal with this problem, the president doesn't need us to be telling him that. We have been doing this since 2015.
I think we should tell the people, not the president.
The state of emergency is not that go and shoot people. That's not it.
Okay.
Let's not make it look like once the state of emergency,
no, I am
there will be a coup d'etat.
No, the question, you see, I keep saying that it would be good if the armed forces sometimes can speak unconstrained about how they also see.
The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
No, they won't do it.
You are not helping me.
When Samens wants you to do,
you are not helping me.
When Samens wants you to do a program, he calls you and tells you.
I'm saying that you see,
the willingness to deal with the problem is not there. You saw the president's body language.
No problem. Let's talk to
the willingness to deal with the problem is not there.
We all know that. Sky, no.
Let's be careful.
You are not getting. We all know what you are saying is true. I am trying to bring a question around resource availability.
Yes,
they have not complained.
You don't the question, but we don't like the question.
Okay.
The danger with that question is that then we give room for that to become an actual excuse, because already.
So we shouldn't ask that question.
I'm not saying we shouldn't ask that question, but we shouldn't give it room for it to become an excuse.
So you extinguish it.
Oh no, you don't extinguish it.
I hear you.
Then you shouldn't
call the military people into an office and say, look, I want to deal with this matter within the next 3 months. Give me within 2 weeks an operational strategy as to how to deal with it.
Good.
All the big brains, the fine men and women in military uniform know how to deal with it. They will come back, Mr. President, this is our operational plan. Should we go ahead? You say yes.
I am with you on
so
this.
You go to Parliament and do the needful.
I am with you. Ebenezer Kobina is the MC for Takwa and Siam Municipal Assembly. We just spoke to Tony Nkrumah Boateng, who is a journalist in Takwa, who says the bonsai works have been shut for a month. Takwa people have to depend on water from the Aboso plant, and a lot of them have to depend on boreholes. There's no water, and he believes that it is a Galamsey problem. Let's talk to Mr. Kobina. Thanks for joining us, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, what is the situation with Takwa in water? A reporter just told us that for the past 1 month, the bonsai headworks have not been functioning, for which reason people in Takwa don't have pipe-borne water, and it traces this to Galamsey. Is this correct?
Thank you very much for the opportunity this morning to speak with CTFM and then the entire country. I think they are all listening to us. It's a huge platform given to me this morning. Yes, the aspect of people not getting water in Takwa for the past 1 month is correct. Yes, I heard this thing that the taps are not flowing. There are various homes. And you know, Takwa here, the only place that we depend on supply of water is the Bonsa River. So when the incident came to my attention, I had to rush there to ask why. Why is it that there's no, water in the various homes? So I met the station manager. The situation, you know, is terrible. And when you went there, it's like the river, it has gone down very, very drastic. So, you know, this incident, it didn't start today. And, you know, the impunity that people, took this very, the river, working on it day and night, it's uncalled for. So when we came to power and, sitting there as MC, myself and my MP, Honorable Zazali Futela, I think we had a plan, of making sure that people do not go working on the, dredging or being Galamsey on the river. So I went there, myself. Even on social media, maybe you have seen it, to make sure that people, those who are working on the river, wage war against them. And we did that. They've worked on the river, and most of the places, on the river, they've diverted the actual river place. The lane that the river used to pass. They've diverted it a whole lot. So it's a challenge that it's generally, in fact, it's not even centered to Tapa. It is a general thing in Ghana. That in fact we have to. All of us have to get up and work at it.
Is there an operation as we speak in Takwa to stop Galamsey? I.e., is there some task force? Is there assembly working with police at the district level, or is the Galamsey fight more on a national scale? So my question is that, as I'm talking to you this week, is there something you and your team as the DISEC are leading on the ground against Galamsey, or everything is on the national level?
Thank you, Fred. Galamsey fight is not one person's fight. It's coordinated. In fact, it's all of us our fight. So the municipality, we are fighting. Individuals are also helping us. Some other institutions here, even the mining companies here, the big mining companies, they are also helping us to solve the Galamsey. My MP, Honorable Zazali Futela, when he was even, coming from Accra, he bought safety boots for the blue water guards to work. He has released a car. The blue water guards, they have challenges. They have logistical challenge. So he has released car for them to work especially on the river bodies. And as it stands now, the challenge has to do with the people you go to them. You wage war against them in the morning, in the night, you've gone back. You see, so it's something else. But we are doing our best as municipality. The police, they are all in they are all in helping this very cause. The blue water guards do not work in isolation. They have the police architecture who are also attached to the blue water guards. And I sometimes even go with them. The blue water guards go with them, especially on the river bodies. Where the thing has got into, it is a national issue. It's something that all of us has to come together and then solve the problem. That is how the thing is.
So at the level of the district, you don't have the resources to enforce. I'm coming.
No,
what I'm saying is that hold on. I'm trying to understand that where the thing has reached, there needs to be a national response to what is happening locally. You don't have the equipment and the men to tackle Galamsey on your own.
You didn't hear what I'm saying is Galamsey fight is not only centered in the municipal fight. That is what I'm talking about. National. Through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, they are doing their best. Just last 3
No, I understand this, but I'm talking. I understand this. I'm talking to you as the head of the municipality, and I'm trying to understand if you have what it takes at that level to deal with the Galamsey in Takwa, or you will need national support to fight it.
It's the same thing that you are saying. It's the same thing. What I'm saying is that Galamsey fight is for all of us. The municipality, we are doing our best. However, national, other institutions, stakeholders, they are also helping us. We cannot do the thing on our own. Just like municipality, the municipal assembly fighting Galamsey alone. In fact, it's a no something. We cannot do it. So the national too, they are also helping us. Other stakeholders, other even corporate institutions in the municipality, they are all bringing resources together. We have the Bonsa River that you spoke about. when I went there, Anglo people had gone there. They had gone there to also see the situation themselves, and even promised to even give us a excavator to dredge the what do you call it? The area where the river passes to the treatment plant. So it's a coordinated thing, something that we cannot do it as in isolation. It's not possible. So first, we are doing our best.
All right.
We are doing our best. But remember how the thing got to. The level that the Galamsey was. And when we took over, it will take time for us to correct this.
Thank you. Ebenezer Kobina is the MC for Takwa and Siaim. He kept referring to me as Fred because Fred is my producer who called him. I'll take a short break. When we come back, we will take some of your comments. And please I don't want anybody to go home thinking that I am saying the government cannot fire Galamsey. I was just asking a question because I know Ghanaians.
Oh, no, but you haven't said that.
You don't know people.
You have not said that.
You don't